Chapter 11. Family, Friends, and Coworkers. Ah man, this one is going to touch some weak points for some of you. It's going to be hard. You're going to lose touch with some of these people, but without a doubt, you're going to experience some major friction in this area. When it comes to your entrepreneurial journey and any of these people that are naysayers, fuck them. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Fuck them. Even if it's your own mother. I know your first thought will probably says that, what in the world is this guy talking about, right? Let me explain. When I say F them, I don't mean literally to say it to them. I don't mean to hate these people. And I definitely don't mean to act on it towards them. I simply mean for you to think that in your own mind. Also, I mean that in the happiest form possible as well. You can easily say F them with a total sense of understanding. That is what I mean. F them with internal understanding. Kind of like, I ain't mad at you. Tupac. Now, of course, I'm not referring to the people that let you know they fully support your journey to become a full-time entrepreneur. These are the people you want to keep in your corner. They believe in you, and most of all, they genuinely want to see you happy. These are the people that matter the most because you're going to need them. When I say F them, I mean the naysayers, because all the people close to you who won't support you fit into one of three categories. They either 1, sincerely care about you, or 2, they don't know your potential, or 3, they actually don't want to see you win. They all would commonly share one thing in relations to your entrepreneurial journey. Let me break it down even further. For the people who sincerely care about you, most often these people will be your immediate family members, including your parents. Also your closest friends and outside family that have come to know you and love you. Since they do sincerely love and care about you, they're not going to want to see you get hurt. Once you tell them that you're going to be eventually quitting your job to pursue your own business, they just might lose their shit on you. Believe me, it's going to surprise you that people will actually try to convince you that what you're currently doing is the right path for you. You're going to be thinking in your head, now how in the hell are you going to know what's right for me? But in their head, they're thinking that you are potentially making the biggest mistake of your life. It might even lead to them indicating things that they believe is wrong with you, like you're making irrational decisions. You need to get a grip on life. You're crazy. What makes you think you're going to make it so far? My cousin tried it, or my brother tried it, and so forth. I mean, it's going to severely shock you that these people actually think that what you're currently doing and miserably doing, might I add, is the right thing for you to do in your life. I'm not going to go into what I personally experienced from my parents and some folks close to me at first, because I'm sure they wouldn't want themselves to be misunderstood for what they meant. But this is so serious, man. These are going to be some people that don't want to see you go down the wrong path. See, for them, they're going to see you in this race that they are socially comfortable with you running for. By you leaving the quote unquote security blanket, or what I like to call the rat race, it represents danger to them. They've seen other people drastically fail, become homeless, and screw up their lives chasing entrepreneurship. Then it will be immediately referenced to you. While yes, they are right in the sense that some people don't get successful. Hell, a lot of people don't get successful. And some people crack under the pressure and lose themselves. Some people get too focused on their business and lose the rest of their life. True, that has happened for plenty of people. But remember when I said that everything is subjective? This is so true, guys. Everything is subjective in this situation. Because although those things have happened to people chasing entrepreneurship, how can that be the destiny for you? They will get so focused on the dangers of quitting your job that those thoughts will immediately overshadow the opportunities and success stories that could happen just as likely. I'm telling you, man, when that time comes, it's going to shock you. You will not be able to assure them and disprove the limitations that they're trying to impress upon you, but it's going to happen. And you're going to have to deeply understand that they are thinking this way because they love you. You're going to have to stomach a lot of the things that they're saying to you and about you, and keep your vision. Don't let them stop you. Don't let them influence you. Stay the course. Now, for the people who don't know your potential, they just simply don't know you. A lot of these people are coworkers and people who are close to you as acquaintances or close friends. Now, I personally didn't have to deal with any of my friends not supporting me because they all knew my caliber since we were young. My friends knew that even since high school, I was going to find ways to get out here and make my own dollar. So I didn't have any direct references of friends that didn't know my own potential. But that doesn't mean that I didn't have friends or acquaintances that were subliminally trying to throw me off my course neither. Now let me explain these folks. First and foremost, don't think that these people have ill intent for you personally. A lot of these types of friends and coworkers won't keep pushing you forward because of their own losses and incapabilities. For example, I had friends who have tried becoming business owners and entrepreneurs once upon a time themselves. So every time I'm talking to them, they have an immediate failure reference of themselves that they resort to in thought. I had this one friend that suffered a business loss. This one time we were talking and I was kind of griping about my financial problems at the moment. Side note, I wasn't having financial problems because I wasn't making enough money to support myself. I was having those problems because I was financially responsible for some unforeseen things that happened in my life that were pretty much totally out of my control. So I was complaining about my financial problems to this one guy. His response was, well, ain't nothing wrong with going back to work and making ends meet. In my head, I'm like, what the fuck? The reason I'm thinking this way at the moment is because of all people, this particular guy knew everything I was fighting for. And he knew that that was the absolute last resort that I would do. I replied, hey man, I don't know what you talking about, but those kind of thoughts are toxic to me. I can't talk about none of that shit. I don't think he took it personal. I think he understood that I definitely want for that conversation though. And that was that. Now I have another dear friend and close friend by the name of Reem. He's a guy that genuinely wants to see me live out my happiness. So around the same time, maybe the same day, in another conversation, I complained about the same exact thoughts and problems that I was having. Now, Reem's reaction and advice was the total opposite. Instead of telling me to go back and work a regular job, he gave me an idea to go out and make more money as an entrepreneur. Whoa. Now that's what I'm talking about. Not only is he one of my closest friends, but a close friend that will give me ideas on how to move forward with my happiness. People, these are the type of friends that you hold closer than anything. They are special because they're like lifelines in times of need. So Reem told me, hey man, you said you got 2 lawnmowers, right? It's lawn season. Why don't you go out and start cutting some yards? I immediately thanked him and I hopped right up and I went and made some flyers. Literally the next day, I started passing them out. Within about 1 to 3 days or so after that, I started getting calls. I ended up with about 25 clients, maybe 30, because some of them were sometimey. So here's some quick math on how that one idea changed my situation. On average, I was charging about $30 per yard. I was cutting my clients' grass twice a month. So that means I was cutting a yard 50 times per month. That was a ballpark amount of about $1,500 for 50 hours of work. Wow, man. Just like that, things change. And I was able to put more time into my other businesses that I had going. So Reem, I can't thank you enough. I love you, man. Still to this day, I buy him Wingstop often whenever we eat there. That's our little thing we do when we link up. We hit up Wingstop. I always joke around and seriously tell Reem, as soon as I get really on with my business, it's residual Wingstop for you every year, my brother. That's no lie neither. See, what I'm saying is I have so much gratitude that it's invaluable with time. I honestly believe that had he not recommended that option to go and cut grass at that time, that my whole story could have been different. So the moral of these 2 friends is not that I hate one over the other, but I learned to know who to take my problems to and who not to take my problems to. The friend who tried to encourage me to go back to a job maybe just didn't know what else to advise. Or maybe he didn't want to see me succeed at something he didn't. Who knows? The point is, I damn sure learned to not let him in my personal situations again. But the other friend, Reem, He knows everything about me and my journey. I'm forever grateful and indebted to him because of that too. As a matter of fact, if you received or bought any of those bands on your arm that say the title of this book, Doing It Cool, that's because of him. In another conversation while I'm telling him about this book, he recommended that I should give some of them away for marketing. Fuck. I love that guy, man. He's going to be on payroll one day. The idea guy. If it hadn't been for him in situations like the two I just mentioned, I honestly don't know where I'd be. Reem, if I ever leave this earth before you, just know that you're one of the people I'm personally going to come down from heaven and protect. I know that's an extreme way to explain for my love for you, brother, but that's how my brain works at times. And y'all get the point. Lastly, for the people who don't want to see you succeed, be aware. These are the sneaky folks. They're going to seem like they mean good, but you'll see by their actions over time that they may not have your best interests at heart. These types of people might be the kind that have that old slave mentality. You know, the kind that don't want to see you be great if they're not doing better. These are the worst kinds in my opinion because they're like snakes in the grass. You don't see their ill intent or their negative wishes against you at first, but when you do, you'll run like hell from them. I have two people that come to my mind when I think about those types of people who don't want to see me succeed. The first one was a girl that I worked with at my job right before I quit the 9-to-5. So it was no mystery in the office that I was clearly educating myself to prepare for becoming a full-time entrepreneur. I worked with two people where we shared somewhat a good sizable area together with our own split cubicles. The girl did not want to see me win. This is how I knew. One day, we had some kind of disagreement about some work stuff or whatever. Then later that day, maybe I was talking about something I learned or referencing something that I was currently educating myself about. I was actually talking to the other person in our office room, but she decided to interrupt and say, "You always over there reading. Don't nobody care about that." Wait, what the fuck? I said. She really didn't have a response after that, but I immediately pretty much stopped talking to her about anything outside of what we had to discuss for work. I literally felt like I was on some slave plantation with a stolen sheet of paper with words on it, trying to learn it. And she was like, "You bet not read that or massa gon' get you." I couldn't believe that somebody can say something as stupid as that in this day and age. And I look at things from both sides too. It was mentally noted for me that maybe she was actually saying, "I'm tired of hearing you talk about the things you're learning." And maybe she wanted to talk about something else. Who knows? But even if that was true, I understood in my head from the tone she said it that she did not want to see me win. So I was done with her altogether. Not to mention, well, I guess I'm mentioning it, but I was literally part of the reason why she got the job. At hiring time, my supervisor asked me can I vouch for her because she worked at another job with me. We didn't work directly together, but I knew her face. And actually, I remember her. I really had a good outlook on her because she gave me a cigarette one time when I was smoking cigarettes. But anyway, I did indeed vouch for her in a way that indicated that I thought she would be a good fit. I couldn't stand her after that situation though. But I was glad to experience that situation still. It obviously taught me something though, and that was how to take somebody when they show you exactly who they are. Now, the next guy that I realized was a snake in the grass was somebody I randomly met and smoked weed with. He actually was a small-time weed dealer. I remember often I would go around him and I would leave feeling a little less me. I couldn't put it together why neither. Until this one day I was letting him know what I was doing and that I was about to quit working and follow my dreams. So I'm talking to him and I'm letting him know all my plans. You know, good weed conversations. Like I was being very detailed in this conversation. So, and one of the things I said was, "Yeah, man, I'm on a track to have about 11 to 12,000 when I leave, which is in about 2 months." The guy's response was, "Shit, I'm trying to have 30,000 by then." Man, listen, this guy was living all kinds of delinquent. I knew about his gas bill about to get shut off, as well as electricity and a couple other things. Things that did not point towards him making anywhere close to that. let alone in 2 months. So that was a clear indication that this guy pretty much doesn't want to see me do better than him or do something that he isn't capable of. So he was another guy that I pretty much cut off from there. As a matter of fact, like a year or so later, when I was back in Greensboro, North Carolina, I went back to kick it with him and smoke a little bit. And I got the same exact feeling. I felt like I was a little less me when I was around him. His way of talking to me were just not in line with how I wanted to be treated. And it didn't show signs that he even liked who I was. It wasn't like blatantly done or nothing, not like a disrespectful way or anything like that. But at the time, I remember leaving his apartment and saying to myself, yep, I'm pretty much permanently done with this guy. And I really felt good about it too. So as you can see, I spent a lot of time talking about some of my personal experiences with people who were close to me. The reason being is because it is one of the most influential parts of human relationships and communication that you're going to have to deal with in your journey. Some of these naysayers actually mean good. Some of them actually mean bad for you. And some just don't know your capabilities. But the bottom line with dealing with naysayers along your journey is, and again I say is, fuck them.